Alright, so today I'm gonna be reading y'all my newest baby. It's a book called Shrink. It's about a guy named Jamal. He's a true addict. He's not just addicted to sex, he's addicted to women in general, right? He doesn't discriminate. He has a heart full of game and a zipper with no filter. He's a man that smashes a baddie at brunch, then goes to give a big girl flowers and a back massage. Every woman thinks he's the one. Some of these scenes go from erotic to funny and vivid, and it's all real. Some scenes are sexy, some messy. Sometimes it just shows him regretting what he's doing. He's proud, but everything he does makes sense, right? Until the curse hits. His erotic freedom becomes his fear. And that's what makes this story brilliant to me. And I'm going to be reading y'all the introduction, part 1 and part 2, just to give y'all an idea of the story. So let's get it. Introduction. Before the curse. Jamal Rivers had never lost a thing in his life, except other people's trust, good women's patience, and his car keys during walk of shames that ended in buildings he couldn't spell. But let Jamal tell it. He was blessed, not lucky, blessed. Too funny to stay mad at, too fine to ignore, and too damn smooth to ever really get caught. That's what made him dangerous. He wasn't your typical heartbreaker. He wasn't cold, wasn't mean. He was worse. He was sincere. Right up until the moment he got what he wanted. Jamal didn't chase women. He just showed up and the universe held the door open. The man could flirt in the funeral line. He once bagged a nurse while his appendix was actively trying to kill him. There was no off switch. He was a black Martin Lawrence with Richard Pryor's soul. A loudmouth philosopher with baby oil and a playlist. He didn't have a type. He had a range. Big women who loved the softness. Tall women he liked climbing. Women who cried after sex. He called it waterproofing the soul. Moms, daughters, librarians, strippers, women with lazy eyes, women with master degrees, women with both. They all got Jamal's treatment. Now don't get it twisted. He wasn't evil. Jamal wasn't trying to hurt nobody. He just thought honesty was optional. Apologies were suggestions. And monogamy was something you promised when the condom broke. He never hit a woman, never cursed one out, never stole from them. But he did something worse. He gave them hope, then left. Every time. Like he was allergic to staying. His boys called him the ghost. Because once he got you, mentally, emotionally, physically, he disappeared. And the scary part, you'd still want him back. Because Jamal made you feel seen. He listened. He cooked. He took the time in bed. He kissed women on their foreheads on purpose. And then when he left, he didn't slam the door. He just faded. Like the last good scene in a movie you can't find again. He once dated 7 women in the same apartment complex, and they all helped him move out when the lease ended. That's how crazy charming he was. He made cheating look like therapy. So how do you curse a man like that? How do you stop someone who can smile and disarm your trauma, then laugh in the arms of someone else the same night? Well, you give him what he wants, and then you tie a price to it. A slow, humiliating, irreversible cost. And you wait, because eventually, even the funniest, finest, most charming man alive will meet a woman who ain't impressed by none of that. Her name is Serenity. And she gave him one rule. You can do anything with me, Jamal. You can love me. You can explore me. You can even hurt me. But if you lie, cheat, or make me cry, what you used to do it will start to die. He laughed because he thought it was a joke. It wasn't. This is a story of a man who had it all and lost it, inch by inch. Of a lover turned addict, turned prophet. Of a curse that wasn't really a curse, but a mirror. This is a story of Shrink, a comedy, a cautionary tale, a damn good reason to start treating women better. Now, go ahead, turn the page. Just don't get too attached. He never does. Stay tuned for part 1, coming soon. Back with part 1 to my newest book, Shrink. Let's start with the facts. Jamal Rivers was a 36-year-old, 5'10", with a smile so warm he could fry a catfish, and a voice so smooth he could get a confession out of a statue. This man had everything going for him. He wasn't rich, but he had what he do for a living money. He wasn't famous, but he had that wait, don't I know you from somewhere energy. He wasn't a model, but he had that kind of face that made women forgive him in advance. He had a full beard, always lined to perfection, fresh sneakers for every day of the week, an apartment that smelled like black soap, eucalyptus, and well-told lies. His fridge stayed stocked with oatmeal and pineapple juice, not because he liked either, but because they were conversation starters, ammunition for intimacy. And when women stayed the night, he offered them a smoothie with quiet confidence of a man who owned a juicer. You want something fresh? I press everything myself, which was a lie. He got them from Trader Joe's, but by the time a woman figured that out, she was already wearing his robe, humming Jill Scott, leaving her favorite mug in his cabinet. Jamal didn't chase women. He attracted them like a lone porch light in the deep dark of summer, and he was damn near glowing. It wasn't just his looks, it was the performance. He had eye contact like jazz, improvisational, intense, and making you feel like the only person in the room. He had laughs that built like a good hook, starting low in his chest, then hitting that vibration right in your stomach. He could talk about chakras and pressure points, Lauryn Hill lyrics, or the time he almost got arrested defending a woman's honor. That story changed every time, tailored to the zodiac sign of his audience. You a Leo? Damn, that's wild. The woman I fought over was a Leo too. Y'all got the same fire in y'all eyes. It's a tell. He didn't just have lines. He had entire philosophies built to dismantle doubt. He didn't break up with women. He ascended away from them, like a sexy, unavailable prophet. This particular morning, Jamal woke up, tangled between two thick, warm legs. One woman. Her name was Veronica. V, he called her. She was a dental assistant, built thick like Sunday dinner, with a heart like a gospel choir. Jamal had told her she reminded him of his grandmother, just younger, sexier, with better snacks. She was sweet, loud, and loved to cook for him. Her laugh came from the belly and made his neighbors smile. She had helped him move into his apartment 6 months ago and never really stopped showing up. This was her 4th sleepover in 10 days. A new record. V lay beside him, snoring softly into the pillow, her bonnet pushed halfway off, mouth slightly agape. On the nightstand, a half-eaten slice of banana bread she'd brought over sat next to a tube of her shea butter lotion. Jamal stared at her profile and felt a warm spread through his chest. It wasn't love. It was a hum of being admired. The feeling was a drug, and this woman was pure, uncut, adoration. In less than an hour, he was going to ghost her. Not because he wanted to hurt her, but because he had brunch with a Pilates instructor at noon, and punctuality was part of the charm. He stretched, arching his back like a cat. "Yo, God," he whispered to the ceiling, "don't take this the wrong way, but you really snapped when you made me." By 11 a.m., Jamal was out the door, fresh outfit, a whisper of cologne, and a phone on Do Not Disturb. Veronica was still asleep, wrapped in his comforter. He left a post-it on the fridge, right next to the grocery list. V, you are a whole vibe. Never stop shining. J, translation, I'm done with you, but please don't hate me. At brunch, he sat across from Jasmina, a black, half-Egyptian Pilates instructor who wore gold rings on every finger and talked with her hands like she was sculpting air. "I just think sensuality is sacred, you know," she said, sipping mimosa number 2. "People don't honor their bodies anymore. They just take." Jamal let her finish, nodding with the humbleness of a monk. He leaned forward, dropping his voice just enough so she could lean into, "You ever had your toes sucked in the infinity?" Jasmina's sacred composure scattered into a laugh, and then bit her lip. Checkmate. 2 hours later, they were in the back of a QX50, fogging up the windows in the Whole Foods parking garage. The distant squeak of a shopping cart wheel echoing off the concrete. This wasn't special. This was Tuesday. Every day he slid through lives like lotion on dry skin, smooth, soothing, and temporary. He had women across every borough, every profession, a lawyer in Midtown, a college student in Jersey, a sugar mama in Yonkers who let him drive her son's gaming PC. Jamal was a collector of intimacy, not because he was evil, but because he was empty, and thought this was how he got full. Every woman gave him a piece of herself, and when they were gone, those pieces floated in his apartment like perfumed ghosts. A silk scarf on the doorknob, a single earring behind the bed, vegan cookies he hated. Sometimes the thought flickered. A quiet night, one toothbrush by the sink, a shared Netflix account, to just stop, to wake up and want to stay. But then the texts would come in, booty emojis, heart eyes. "Where are you?" He remembered his mantra, "I ain't the bad guy, I'm the fun guy." That night, he got a DM from a woman. Only one profile picture. Face like a painting. Eyes like rain that didn't need thunder to announce its arrival. Her name was Serenity. She said, "I don't follow clowns, but I do like a man who knows how to put on a show." Jamal grinned, the hunter's instinct kicking in. Then sit front row. He didn't know it yet, but that DM was the beginning of the end, the first nail in the coffin. The man who measured his worth by the number of women he could have was about to learn a whole new form of math: subtraction. Stick around for part 2. I hope I did well on that. I was sweating. I was a little nervous, but yeah, part 2 coming soon. What up, everybody? I'm back with part 2 of my newest book, Shrink. Let's get it. If you ask Jamal Rivers how he broke up with women, he shrugged like it was a trick question. I don't break up with them, bro. I just let the wind carry me. And that's exactly how it felt to date him. He'd show up like a heat wave, melt through your walls, whisper things that felt ancient, then touch you like he'd been sent by your ancestors. Then poof, no fight, no drama, just evaporated. You'd be left checking your phone for days, scrolling through old messages like they were scriptures, trying to find the loophole in his gospel. You ever feel like your body knew mine before we met? Damn, I want to paint you with my tongue. You're the kind of woman that makes a man question all his bad habits. Lies. But they didn't feel like lies when he said them. That was Jamal's gift. He didn't lie to deceive. He lied to connect. He spun stories like R&B songs you couldn't help but sing along to, even if you knew the hook was a fantasy. Take a Tuesday morning. Jamal was lying in bed with Shay, a Haitian bartender with an afro like a lioness and thighs that deserved their own zip code. They just finished 2 rounds, and her head was resting on his chest like she signed a lease. She looked at him, her eyes soft with the post-sex vulnerability he loved to collect. You serious about what you said last night? What part? That you see yourself building something with me, a future. Jamal smiled that dangerous smile, the one that seemed to disarm a woman's intuition. Shay, you ever seen a house get built in a day? No, exactly, but it starts with the right foundation, and you feel like solid ground. She melted, clutching his beard like it held all the answers. 2 hours later, Jamal told her he had an urgent work call, threw on a hoodie without looking her in the eye, and dipped. She never heard from him again. That same afternoon, he was in Harlem, posted up at Camille's art gallery. She was a part-time painter, full-time fine, with arms covered in tattoos and eyes that said, "I've seen some shit." Jamal had met her in a live painting battle, where she poured blue acrylic on a naked man's back and smeared it into a mural of loneliness. He told her afterwards, "That piece you made, it felt like the inside of my chest." She looked him up and down. "You're either deep or horny." He said, "Yes." Now they were back at her place, candles lit, bodies tangled on a paint-splattered mattress, breathing like competing jazz solos. Camille scratched his back, dried paint flaking under her nails. "If you're not looking for something real," she whispered, "don't stay the night." Jamal kissed the pulse part on her neck. "Then I guess I'll be here forever." My tongue began tired, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. He stayed until sunrise, then vanished. You get the picture. Jamal had weaponized intimacy, turning the 3-act tragedy into a damn routine. Act 1, the laugh. He'd make her feel like the only person on earth. He was funny, deep, broken in a way that seemed fixable. He'd cook for her, dance in her living room, eat her out like he was apologizing for every man that came before him. Act 2, the lie. He'd say, "I never met anyone like you," even if he'd said it in a Whole Foods parking lot 2 days ago. He wasn't lying maliciously. For a few hours, in her bed, under her spell, he'd almost believed it himself. The leave. No explanation, no closure, just one missed call that went to voicemail, followed by a quiet digital silence that turned a sane woman into a conspiracy theorist. The wildest part, they'd still defend him. He just needs time. He's healing from something. He said I made him feel safe, but Jamal, didn't want safety. He wanted novelty. He wanted women to feel like home, but only for the weekend. Until one night, at his boy D's party, Jamal ran into three exes at the same damn time: Camille, Shay, and Carla. A spicy Dominican nurse with a neck tattoo, and patience of a prison warden. All three were dressed to kill, heels sharp, their perfumes mixing in the air like a declaration of war. Camille sipped on her wine, eyes narrowed over the rim of the glass. Shay stood with her arms crossed, her death stare stripping the paint off the nearby Tesla. But it was Carla who was already moving towards him. Hey yo, Jamal. He turned, the smile freezing on his face for a fraction of a second before the performance kicked in. Look who it is, my favorite nurse. Nah, don't do that. Don't do what? Don't act like we were on good terms, like you didn't ghost me 2 weeks ago, after you cried on my couch about your father. Damn, you remember that? My couch still got the tear stains, Poppy. So I ask you again, where the hell is your soul? Camille and Shay crept closer like backup dancers in a revenge musical. Camille, I thought we were building something real. Shay, you said I was your piece. Carla turned to the other two. He said that same thing to me. Camille, what? Yeah, I'm trying to like read through this whole thing, but I'm a little nervous and my tongue gets tied sometimes, so forgive me. I'm trying though. Okay. Jamal blinked, took a fortified sip of Hennessy, and did what any smooth, fully guilty man would do. He pointed behind them and yelled, "Yo, is that Solange?" They turned. He ran back to his apartment. He paced like a man who just dodged a volley of grenades. They can't all be mad at me at once, right? That's like against the law of nature. He checked his DMs to soothe his nerves. 5 new messages. 3 were fine. One was in his neighborhood. One sent feet pics with no context. He smiled. The world was right again. Crisis averted. That's when he saw it. The DM from Serenity. The woman with one picture and the bio that just said, "Watch it. You look like the type of man who never loses. But I bet you never had to earn anyone either." He stared at the words. They landed differently. Paused, laughed it off. He typed back, "You trying to be deep or you trying to get dinner?" She replied almost instantly, "Why not both?" That night, for the first time in months, Jamal didn't sleep with anyone. He just sat on his couch, eating leftover oxtails, scrolling through Serenity's single photo, like it was a map to a place he'd never been. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't posing. She just was. Confident. Still. Present. Jamal laughed to himself. A low, nervous rumble. I'm going to ruin her too. And that, dear reader, was Jamal's first and last mistake. So that's part 2. I hope you liked it. I hope I didn't stumble over my words too much. I promise I'm going to get better at this. Y'all just have to support me so I know what y'all like and don't like. But yeah, I'm out.